Quick reprisal suspected for a triple slap away in Savlamar. After a rampage, gunmen claim the lives of 3 people in Savlamar. On Saturday morning, the parish continued to be plunged by gun violence. The very same night, 44-year-old O'Neill Reed, otherwise called Satan, of Baptist Lane, Savlamar, was shot by unknown assailants in his community on Saturday night. The police believe his death was a reprisal for a triple slapaway that was committed earlier that day. Reports from the Savlamar police are that about 8 p.m. residents heard explosions and summoned the police. Upon their arrival, Reed was seen lying in a pool of Kool-Aid. He was then taken to hospital where he was pronounced. On Saturday morning, gunmen killed 41-year-old Akime Bradbury, otherwise called Paparazzi, an inspiring entertainer of Dunbar River. 30-year-old Andrika Smith of Rickett Street and 38-year-old Dwayne Fang, otherwise called Okidan, of Darling Street, all in Westmoreland. Prior to the latest set of taken out in the parish, there was a 53.8% increase in the number of murders committed there so far this year when compared to the corresponding period of last year. Government will not be crippled by academic debate over CEO PM. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Sunday took a sweep of criticism of the state of emergency SOE, questioned whether the government should be crippled by the academic debate on the constitutionality of the emergency measures. 7 CEOs were declared in the Rural Police Division of St. James, Westmoreland, Hanover, in the corporate area in St. Andrew South, Kingston Western, Kingston Central, and Kingston Eastern Police Division on Sunday, in pointing out the number of murder rate in some of these areas that were declared. The SOEs range from 47 per 100,000 to as high as 100 per 100,000. Holness said that is not normal for one country. Additionally, he urged that 1,000 murder per year is also not normal. Required urgent action. How is that normal? How is that not an emergency? And should the government be crippled by the academic debate about the constitutionality of the measures while people in Jamaica are dying? Question the Prime Minister, what do I say to the family of the young men whose head was taken and kicked around? What does the opposition say to them? Do we have not our responsibility to save life? And should we allow more people to die while we satisfy ourselves about an issue because it is poorly academic? He further quizzed, every society must powered to deal with exceptional circumstances and emergency. He pointed out the government recently amended the Emergency Power Act despite the act being before the Court of Appeal. Clause 2 of the Principal Act has been added to include a definition for the period of a public disaster, which would reflect a similar definition in the section of the chapter of the fundamental rights and freedom of the Constitution. The penalty previous were also amended to include a new prevention that will be relevant. Minister of Power to change the penalty by order subject to the Armorphic Act. The government had largely replied on the legislation to enforce the use of the COE as in the main crime fighting tool that was until it was struck down as unconstitutionally by a Supreme Court ruling in September of last year. 5 men who had been detained for an extended period brought the matter to the court and prevailed after the judge ruled their detention was unlawful. Holness led the government has since appealed that the decision by the judge. Meanwhile, Holness on Sunday did not shy away from admitting that the government has pointed that the use of the SOE is responding to what can only be described as a national emergency. We have used the extra powers given in the declaration of state of emergency to the crime problem, and we have used it in such a way that we are respectful of the human rights of the citizens, and at the same time whenever we have used the SOE it has brought down murder rates and has returned some sense of safety and security both to the communities in which have implemented them and nationally, the Prime Minister asserted. In noting that the issue of the constitutional of the COEs remain before the court, only said the emergency measures remain a legislative crime prevention tool and as such will be used. The courts have decided otherwise. So, politically debate is one which surround whether or not the tool is constitutional and that it's the debate which is legitimate. One, we don't know in any way shy from it. And in proceeding in the appeal court, the lawyer general, Mr. Anthony General, has been very effective in working through the issues that are involved. But until there is a definite ruling on the matter, the tool remains available. So, because there are emergencies for which the government must respond to, he declared. In elaborating on those emergencies, the Prime Minister pointed to the recent murder of a man whose head was decapitated and sent to his family members, that the act, according to Holness, has introduced, among the other things, a new level of barbarity and the threats to undertain Jamaican state. It is the one thing to commit and another thing to commit murder. So right now, my viewers and my sub, the government I put out a lot of things right now. A lot of things right now the government has say. I kind of believe say yeah, true, some of them things are really true still, but leave your thoughts and your comment in the comment section. Angry mob chop suspected robber to death in St. James. An angry mob chop a suspected robber to death in the community of Anchovy in St. James on Saturday. Reports from the Anchovy police are that about 8 p.m. a male suspected to be Sh0ck, who is the alleged robber to have been involved in the robbery and arson, was seen along a roadway and was attacked by unknown assailants from the community. The suspect was chopped by the mob. The man ran and collapsed into a nearby pond. His body was later removed by the fire brigade and taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead, although he was already dead. The police are still investigating. Yeah man, some of them forget dirt, man. Dirt them here, dirt them there, dirt them everywhere, my viewers and myself. Continue like, share and subscribe to the movement. Bless up.